I'm just thought I'd go live for just like maybe 45 minutes because I've got some stuff I need to do later on today. Yeah, let me give you a jacket, Mom. Let me give you a jacket as moderator. Should be able to have a jacket now. Yeah. Thank you, Mom. And I'm also wearing the logo. Good evening. Guys, just letting you know, I'm only going to be on for like maybe 45 minutes, an hour, but definitely no more than an hour today. Because I've got to be somewhere around 4 p.m. today. So I've got to kind of get this in quick. Maybe 45 minutes, but we can use this as an opportunity to like connect with each other and all this other stuff. Yep, that's my logo. Yep. One of my own vests. I don't wear it all the time, to be honest. Like that's the funny thing. I don't even wear my own clothes all the time. Um, but it's also nice to see other people wearing the logos. Like I've got a whole library of people who are like collaborators, online customers and clients, things like that, who obviously wear the logo, and it's great to see that. Liz, hello, Liz. Liz, let me add you. Let me put you in the pin so that everyone. Liz is a member of mine, guys, and she's been very, very helpful, very, very supportive. Uh, with the kind of the stuff that I've been working on. And you can see the logo next to her name, as you can see the logo on my chest over here. So yeah, guys, connect to Liz's channel and give her a little bit of support. Liz, by the way, I'm only going online for like 45 minutes, an hour max, because I literally have to be somewhere at like 4, and I need to give myself a decent margin of time to kind of get that in. But guys, yeah, also I wanted to come here to kind of discuss a few things, because I've had some people on Instagram ask me very specific questions about what my plans are with this whole brand thing, where things are going, because they're interested in collaborating, they're interested in like working with me. But to be honest with you, some of the people, that logo was the best and unique. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, the funny thing is, and this kind of goes into what I'm talking about, because I remember years ago when this whole thing was just an idea in my head, and now it's here, right? It's physically here. And when I say here, it's not just here in terms of like an online thing. There are like t-shirts now, clothes now, models now, and all this other stuff. And hi, let me give you hold on. Add as a moderator. All right. You'll add it as a moderator, so you can share. Guys, share your links as well. Even though I'm talking, you can share your links with like your new videos and stuff, and then I'll pin them on. But for now, obviously, as I mentioned, my not clients, my members will get a slightly higher priority than everybody else, simply because they're members of mine, and one of the perks is promoting their channels. So if you could all go to Liz Nasra in the pin comment and give us some support, give her a follow, etc. But yeah, as I was saying, so it's one of those things where you start to really evaluate what your priorities are when it comes to like work and money and what your real goals are. And I find it very interesting that obviously, yeah, these people online, I'm not necessarily going to talk about them right away, but I find it very interesting when you go offline and you're talking to people like, in your environment, people that you kind of know in a more personal level, and the way that they're okay, it's like they all hate their jobs. Like for the vast majority of them, they all despise their jobs, right? But they still do it, and they do it full time, and they don't work towards anything that they really want. It's like they've just sort of accepted the reality of what it is to represent Team Apex. Thank you, Liz. I really appreciate that. Liz, do I have you on Instagram? Do you have Instagram, Liz? Do I have you on Instagram? I don't know if I do. I think I'm confusing you with someone else. Quite possibly. But yeah, no. As I was saying, yeah. So I just find it very interesting that people are it's like they sort of hate the reality that they have, but so you're not on Instagram. Liz, do you have Instagram, or you're just not we're just not following each other on Instagram? Because I think I've confused you with someone else. I think she is following me on Instagram. Maybe I'm confusing you with another. Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, there's two Liz's. I know another Liz, and no, she's a good friend of mine, and I support her on YouTube. She supports me on YouTube, and she's on Instagram as well. Let me go follow you now. There's no rush, but if you do, just send me a DM so that I can follow you back, because I've got. You should see my DM list. I got several DMs that kind of I just don't answer right away, because some of the DMs I get are a bit questionable from some people, and some of the other DMs are a bit more business based and all this other stuff. But overall, it's nice to get DMs from people. But I'll check your DM out later. But anyway, yeah, as I was saying, so I just find it very interesting that people are so willing to concede to the reality that they don't like, and just kind of run with that. Because if you do that, you have to do that for the rest of your life. Like, you'll be doing that for the rest of your life, and assuming you live a full life, and you don't get knocked off early on, you're going to be there for probably like 80 plus years, like probably even longer, because obviously, with modern science and technology and healthcare, especially in places like the West, has improved. So your life expectancy is probably going to be even higher than you think it is, assuming you don't do anything stupid to offline yourself. So you're going to be living probably even longer in that condition. Now, what's the topic? The topic is ultimately the topic for right now is what's your ideal life, and what are you practically doing to kind of make that an actual reality? Because the people I've been speaking to, it's like they hate their jobs. They When I say they hate their jobs, it can be it could be Friday and they're already dreading the Monday that's coming in a few days, because they know they have to go back to an environment they hate. And I was explaining something to them, and I was like, look, it's not just the environment that you hate, it's that position of being an employee that you really hate. Obviously, I won't say that for all people that hate their jobs. There could be a number of reasons why, but I know these people. So I know from our conversations back and forth, I know what that the real issue is. And it's just that they just don't like being an employee. They don't want to work for anybody. They want to work for themselves, and they want to create their own vision. But the thing is, they do absolutely nothing about that. They complain about it a lot, but they don't do any practical steps. Like, if I told them, oh, here are my 10 steps to kind of get from A to Z, they don't have anything like that. I know some of our friends that are like that. Yeah, exactly. Export. So let me give you a moderator. So if you got like, if you're a creator and you've got like some posts, some new videos, drop the link in there and I'll add that in there. But yeah, so yeah, exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And month after month, year after year, the situation stays the same. And I was just thinking about that whole scenario, and we were discussing like the several traps that, well, things that I deem to be traps, at least, that kind of society lays out for you, which makes it even harder to escape that. And number one is, again, this is a perspective thing. Having a family too soon, I think that is a massive, massive trap. Massive trap. Because if you're not established in whatever thing that you want to do, let's say prior towards entrepreneurship, you were working in some sector or something, and you hated that sector, but it paid you money and it felt good to get the money. But the way you got it, you were dissatisfied because you don't like the sector at all. It's just based on survival. Maybe you did it because your parents told you to do it, society, your family, what have you. And then you come to the realization, maybe a few years into it, that you're like, oh shit, like, I don't really like doing this. It doesn't really grab me the way it used to. Or you come to the realization where it was pure survival. You just did it purely for surviving. But you saw people online that were, preaching this message of, doing your own thing, living your own life, making a life on your own terms, etc. And then you came to the conclusion that that's not what you've been doing at all, but that's something you'd like to do. Now, by that time, if you are already in, say, a relationship or a family or anything like that, then you're more or less stuck, because now, well, actually, no, I won't say you're completely stuck, but you have more incentive to stay stuck, because there are dependents on you, and you want to make sure that you're making a certain amount every single month in order to support said dependents. So it's going to be not impossible, because I know someone right now who's she's got like her own family and all that other stuff, and she's working towards what she really wants to do now. I think she's in her 40s. She's working towards what she really wants to do now, even despite having, like, a husband and kids and all this other stuff. And she gave an interesting take on it. She said, "Oh, but if I was doing it the way you're doing it, Bernard, in your 20s, I didn't have the mindset that I didn't have the same mindset that I have now that I did back then." So I agree. There can be certain circumstances where, hi Vera, hold on. Is it okay if you give me some tips about YouTube display name, because mine right now seems like a hacker? Yeah, I can wait. Hold on, Vera. If you have any new videos, drop it in the comment section and I'll pin that up. But for now, everybody go to Liz. Give you some tips about YouTube display name, because mine right now seems like I'm a hacker. Well, I would just say have a display name that is, if you're not a content creator and you're not trying to create something, just have a display name that just looks cool or something. I don't know. I think that whole, it looks like a hacker, that's a matter of perspective. Exporter, I think it depends on how you come across. Do you have any content on your page? Obviously, I can't check it right now, but if you have some content, some videos there already, then, and it looks legit, then you will look less like a hacker. But I don't know, man. Hi Sahi, how you doing? Let me pin Sahi up. Replace pin message. I got you watching here, my friend. Thank you, Sahi. So we'll go to Sahi's channel, and then after Sahi, we'll go to Vera, and then we'll go to Exporter. Okay, a little, so you got a little bit of content. All right. I would just say have a friendly name that's open, maybe change the display picture, something like that, so that it, you seem more approachable and more trustworthy. I don't know, something along those lines. Good to see you too, Shahi. And we'll go to Shahi's channel, then we'll go to Vera. But anyway, yeah, as I was saying. So for me, I just find that I find it very interesting that people are willing to trade so much of their time towards even beginning to start going off in the direction that they really want to go in. There are people that have let 5 years go by, 10 years go by, 15 years go by, making excuse after excuse after excuse as to why they shouldn't at least try to venture off in that direction. But think of the opportunity cost. If you spent 5 years debating on whether you should start, that's 5 years. Give me a jacket. Yep, I'll give you a jacket. Cool, you got a jacket. That's 5 years, guys. That's 5 years that you've wasted just like considering starting. It would be one thing if you said, all right, I started 5 years ago and I'm not quite where I wanted to be yet, but at least I'm on that path. That's one thing. But 5 years, you wasted 5 years to even begin starting. That's scary to me, because that's time you can't get back. Money you can get back, time you can't get that back. So yeah, I followed you. You are verified on Instagram. Yeah, yeah, Liz. Okay, yeah. So you definitely got me then, Liz. I'll follow you back after the live. All right. So just give me a second. Hi, sister Daisy. That's Daisy, another great friend of mine. Daisy, can you go to Sahi Kitchen Vlogs and follow her channel? And Sahi, can you also follow Daisy as well, so you can give each other some support? Also, Daisy, if you go to Sahi Kitchen Vlogs, she does like a live show every day, where you can connect to the people in her live show and you can kind of get more followers and more support as well. And those people will go back to Daisy's live show, because Daisy does an amazing live show. Daisy, how long is it, sister Daisy? How long has it been? Like, I've been following you. I think it's been like a year. It's probably been. I've been following Daisy for like a year, at least a year. And let me tell you, like Daisy, Sahi, both your channels have been very, very helpful in building like my own channel up and connecting to people from different backgrounds and everything else like that. So I really appreciate that. But anyway, yeah, as I was saying, yeah, it's more than it's been more than a year. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been at least a year. I know that. I know that much. But yeah, as I was saying, so going back to what I was mentioning, I find it it's a very scary thing to kind of let time fly by like that. And they were basically just asking me some tips on how I got things started. And thank you guys for connecting. I'll return tomorrow. Okay, Liz will return in her own time. And how I got things started. Now, one thing that you need to learn is that when you're creating your own thing, you are 100% responsible for what happens. So you're the one that's going to be pioneering that whole venture. It's on you. You can't wait for other people to tell you what to do, when to do, because that's one of the reasons why you started your own venture, so that nobody would tell you what you needed to do and when you needed to do it. You need to create it yourself. You need to take the responsibility and have discipline and say, okay, this is my vision, my thing, and it's on my shoulders to make that work. So one tip that they asked me is, how did you grow so much on Instagram? I was doing networking on Instagram. I do networking almost every day, guys. Yeah, it's so amazing that we meet when you just in below one case ago. Yeah, exactly. Sister Daisy said the exact same thing. Like, I was following Sister Daisy when I had like 1,000 subscribers, and now I've got nearly 10,000. Sister Daisy, I've been following Sister Daisy before I had 1,000 subscribers, before I was monetized, before I even started like distributing clothes out to people and all this other stuff. Like, it's but in all that time, like a lot, just last year, exactly, just last year. So a lot can happen, a lot can change in that time period if you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to keep yourself accountable and make yourself grow. That's the only way how it can really work. But again, that's one of the benefits of having your starting your own thing, is that you're completely in charge. But with being in charge comes with responsibility of making it work. Obviously, if you are a full-time employee, you you have a boss telling you what to do and all this other stuff, and that might work well for you. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think if it's a thing where that kind of model of life works for you and it fits in with all this other stuff that you want to do, then I think go for it. But if it doesn't fit in with what you want to do, and you're just doing it to survive, then, and you know that you have like grander ambitions and a grander vision. All right, hold on. Let me pin Sister Daisy up, replace pin message. Okay, everyone go to Sister Daisy's channel. If you guys have videos that you want to share as well, pin them up, post them in the comment section, and I'll put that there. I have to wait 14 days to change my display. Yeah, you gotta wait. You gotta wait some time, mate. You can't just change it up straight away. You're gonna have to wait a little bit, because it's YouTube needs to approve it, and they need to make sure that there's no other person that has the exact same name, that sort of thing. But yeah, Exporter, like, what you said that you had some friends that think the way that I'm describing. What's been your experience dealing with them? Like, where, or rather, where in the conversation do you lie? Do you agree with what I've said, or do you take a different approach to the whole, creating your own thing and making your own way? Apex, sir, good evening. Good evening, M video creator. I hope you're doing well. If you got a new video, drop it in the comments section and I'll pin that up later. Right now, we're going to Daisy Doolan's Daisy Doolan's channel, and we're connecting with her. And then we're going to check out some other people's like videos and all that other stuff. But yeah, no, as I was saying, so going back to the topic, I find, again, I've just always found it very, very interesting and kind of scary that people are willing to let so much time like that pass by, and then at the tail end of it just be like, oh, I didn't really do anything with that time. For me, I'm always making sure that every day I'm doing something towards that. Obviously, there's a lot of work that happens, and to be honest, I don't really have much free time. It's rare that I get like free time like that, because even on days where I'm there's always something going on. What was the question again? No, yeah, the question I asked you specifically was, how do you deal with people who want to change something about like their whole work situation, and they want to create like their own sort of brand or business, whatever, but they've done absolutely nothing but complain about it every single day, every single year, about the circumstances of their life? Or actually, a better question would be, forget the whole brand and all that other stuff. How have you dealt with people who complain consistently about the same thing but change absolutely nothing about it? I think that's a better question, a more pertinent question, because that's a bit more general, as opposed to the previous question I mentioned with brand stuff. Sahi Kitchen done connect. Okay, cool. Daisy's connected with Sahi. Sahi will get back to you, because for me, I just find it's a very scary thing when you think about it, because you've only got one life. And if you come to the end of it and you say, oh, I've, I've done all this work for all these other people, but I never spent any of that time, no real time or any real investment on myself and my vision and what I want to accomplish in life and all the other stuff. I just think that's a very scary thing to come to the end of your life and realize that. So that's why I always encourage people, the moment you the moment you find out, Canal, how you doing? Canal, we'll go to you next. I think the moment you find out what you is that you really want to do, I'm not saying quit anything like that, but I'm just saying at least have a plan in place. Have a plan in place where as time goes on, you're gradually converting from what you don't want to do to what you want to do all the time. And then build upon that so that eventually you wake up to a life where you don't need a vacation from that. You feel good about doing it, and it's obviously, I'm not even talking about the money, but you feel good doing it, and it's producing something like something of substance. Like that's something that I think people should be going towards, and I think everyone will be a lot happier for it. Exporter, is it okay to connect you? Yeah, guys, yeah, connect to each other. Connect to each other. Obviously, I'm talking, but this is a good opportunity for you to make some new friends. And honestly, I prefer it when the live shows are a little bit, a few less people. I prefer it when it's like that because it's easier to manage everybody else, which is why before when I would schedule it, there would be tons of people that will come in. But I think now, at least for now, I'll probably just go live randomly. I'll go live at least once a week, but I might just make it random so that um, less people will be in there, and the fewer people there are in there, the more likely you are to get a response from each other when you connect to each other, and it makes it easier for me to just manage everybody because everyone's all there. So but yeah, I'm really thankful for that. But I think, yeah, I kind of shared my thoughts on that. I think the moment you figure out what it is that you're really kind of wanting, you should do something about that immediately. Don't wait. Don't wait for a perfect opportunity. At least start. Like I know it's like I know someone who said they want to have 100,000 subscribers on Facebook, and they kept saying that. This was years ago, and they kept saying that they wanted 100,000 subscribers on Facebook, and they was like, oh, I wish I had 100,000 subscribers on Facebook, but they never even created the Facebook profile to begin with. They had like their own personal Facebook profile, but he was talking about having a 100,000 followers on like a business page of Facebook, but he hadn't even created the page yet. And I remember one day just telling, I was like, you do realize that the first thing you need to do is at least create the page. If you've at least done that in the beginning stages, then well done, because you've at least made one step towards that goal that you mentioned. And that's what I'm talking about. I think that initial step is what people don't do. They just talk about it all the time, but that actual first step is something that a lot of people just don't want to do it for whatever reason because it's not comfortable, or it's scary. But I just encourage people, yeah, just make that first step, and then as time goes on, build upon it. You're not going to know all the answers. I don't know all the answers, but I haven't needed to know all the answers. I just show up and I keep doing things, and I've learned a lot of things on the way that have been very beneficial. So it's one of those things where you learn whilst doing. When it comes to this whole creating thing, you literally learn whilst doing. Like you don't learn whilst you're sitting back doing nothing. You learn whilst doing, and then you pick things up and you meet people along the way that are willing to help you. People that are like joining in on your vision. Like even now, with this group chat over here, you can literally meet. You can make new friends. You can meet new people. You can connect to other people, and you can, make new friends with people. So it depends on just what you're willing to do and how you're willing to go about it. But all right, I think that's enough about me. Let's start watching some of each other's videos here. So I have a sister that just revises every second, every minute, and every hour. What revises for an exam? Yeah, how old is she? It's not very social. Yeah, it isn't, but she's passionate about, well, I don't know if she's passionate. Like, is she, how old is she? You say revision, so I imagine she's in school revising for an exam. She a teenager? What exporter? What country are you from? Are you from the UK? Something tells me you're from the 14. Okay, yeah. So if she's 14, what she's doing her GCSEs if she's in the UK? Is it GCSEs? Like what country are you watching from? Something tells me you're from the UK. Yeah, yeah. Something tell I can just tell. Something tells me you're from the UK. Yeah. So yeah, she's revising for her GCSEs. What has she said? What she wants to do after that? Is she going to go to? I'm in the UK. Yeah, I thought as much. I had a suspicion that you was from the UK as well. But yeah, has she mentioned what she wants to do with all of that? What does she get good grades already, or is she just revising? Does she revise all the time, or does she have any fun or anything like that? Because I find it, revision. Okay, I only started revising after. In other words, I only started taking school seriously when I was in year. What year was it again? When I was in secondary school, around year 10. That's only when I started. Ah, Zay, happy Friday to you, Zay. Let me pin Zay here. Great friend of mine, guys. Great supporter. She's in the UK as well. You guys go to her channel and support her. Check out her videos, watch, etc. But as I was saying, yeah, I only started taking school seriously when I was like in year 10. And when I say year 10, not 10 years old. When you're in year 10, you're like what? You're like, how old are you when you're 10? You're like 15, like 15 years old. Before, it's not like I wasn't bad at school before that, but for me, it was a thing where I was just playing. I used to play a lot of games. Like, um, I used to play a lot of video games as well, like console games, like PlayStation, all of that. There's nothing wrong with playing that now, but back in the day when I was a teenager, like 15 years old, I used to play a lot of games, but it was only when I got to like 16 when I started to change a lot. And it's funny, like my approach to school changed because I stopped playing a lot of games and I just started doing loads of revising. Like I was pretty much like your sister. I was revising every day, and that wasn't good. Like, oh yeah, she revises a bit too much because we were trying to go on grandparents' house. She doesn't want to go. She stays. So yeah, no, like I understand that. Like there was a time where I used to do that. Like I went from playing loads of video games to just revising all the time. And even when I passed my GCSEs and did all of that, when I was in sixth form, because obviously in the UK, it's we don't call sixth form college, we call sixth form, and there are colleges, but you can go to something called sixth form or college and then university. I know some Americans call university college, which is weird. But yeah, I used to revise all the time in sixth form, all the time. There was never a day where I didn't revise because I did maths, science, and RE. RE was kind of one of the compulsory subjects, but RE and philosophy, it was pretty interesting, to say the least. There was some interesting debates that went on, which I appreciate a sort of line of discussion. But yeah, no, I was just revising all the time. I did A level maths, and I liked maths. Funny enough, like people look at the content and think, oh, fitness, gymnastics, and all that other stuff. He should hate maths. I used to love maths. And if you're in the UK and you've done A levels, I mean, she's approaching her GCSE, so fair enough. Yeah, exactly. And obviously you want to pass. Like on results day, you don't want to be that person on results day in your final day of secondary school who didn't at least pass English, maths, and science. Because I remember, I remember in secondary school, oh my days, there were tons of people at the final day of secondary school who were in tears. They were crying. They were all over the place because they wasted their time. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying before, but in a different context about like, like brand, like building building life that you really want. Whether it's working a normal job, that's fine, or building a business or whatever it is. They wasted their time. And then when it came to the tail end of it, a lot of people were in tears, a lot of people are disappointed. They tried to appeal against their grades, and no, it had nothing to do with the grade system itself. It's just that they didn't study, and they were messing around, and they didn't bide their time appropriately. Obviously, there were some people that studied and they just didn't get the grade that they wanted. That can happen too, and I don't make fun of those people. You gave it a fair shot. There are plenty of other options in life. Um, do you think I should start revising? Well, no, but that depends. See, this is what I'm saying, exporter. If it's a thing where, um, okay, here's what I would say: pass your GCSEs, but then think a couple years in advance, because if you're doing your GCSEs, the option to go to sixth form or college is something that happens right after, or after you finish sixth form college, you don't need to go to university. You could just go to work, and avoid debt. Now, here's the thing: a lot of people that go to university, I went to university and I did economics, but now with the perspective I have now, I probably, honestly, probably wouldn't have gone to uni if I knew what I know now. If I knew back then what I know now, I probably wouldn't have gone to uni. Obviously, there are some people that you meet at university and all that other stuff, which can be life changing, and maybe that's good for you. But I think you need to think about what you want overall in life. And that trickles back down to whether you should start revising or not. Because on the one hand, the typical advice you'll hear is you should start revising because you need to get the good grades because that's good and it will please your parents and you can get into a better school. Okay, that wisdom makes sense. But what value is that wisdom if eventually you just want to create your own business and do your own thing? Now, in the interim, right now, it could be a good thing. It could be a good thing for you to, study, get the grades that you need. I'm not saying don't study. Get the grades that you need and finish your education, but then when you get to sixth form, start to think about what it is that you really want. Because if you're going to university, especially in the UK, you're gonna, unless you've got a lot of money saved up, you're gonna incur debt going in there. Now, Lord Joker, hello. Lord Joker's a new friend of mine I met earlier today. Let me give you a jacket. Cool. All right, Joker, you've got a jacket. If you want to share any of your videos or anything like that, then feel free to do so and I'll post you up. But yeah, as I was saying, Sporter, happy Friday to you. Yeah, and everyone knows each other. That's good. But yeah, you got to think about that, man. You got to think about that because all of the studying that you're doing right now is ultimately to get you into a school, a university where you do a degree. Maybe you then finish your bachelor's and you do masters and you do PhD, ultimately to work at some job, right? For a company or anything like that, or to be a teacher or to whatever it is that you're thinking of doing. But you need to think about if that's something that you really want. Now, if you say you're revising, you're a teenager, I know you're young, but and even at my age, in your mid to late 20s, you probably still won't have the answer figured out then. But all I'm saying is, when it comes to the university side of things, really think about if that's something you want to do because you're going to incur debt going into university. And the good thing about the UK is that, at least when I went to uni, I don't know if the laws have changed now regarding uni specifically, but the debt that we incur in the UK isn't punitive in a sense where in America you have to pay back your student loans. You have to pay it back. In the UK, at least when I went to uni, I finished university in 2016. So it's been like what, 8 years since I finished uni. But you don't necessarily have to pay back your student loans in the UK. And under the program plan that I had at that time, a lot of the debt that you incurred in uni gets written off after 30 years because their assumption is that after 30 years of all the tax that you've paid and all of the you know contribution to society that you've made, then it sort of balances out. You don't need to have that against your record anymore. So that's the only good thing about like the student loan debts. You don't have to pay it back in the UK. Some people argue morally you should, and I suppose maybe all debts must be paid. I understand that, but legally, and obviously the law is not the same as morals. Legally, you don't necessarily have to, especially if you're not in a position to. Now, if you do pay it back, there will be certain they'll take you need to be making a certain amount of stable income, and then the government will take like a certain amount of that every single month to contribute towards paying back your student loan. But I would say if you know that going to university is not for you, then just stand on that, because in my honest opinion, I I'm not 100% sure I would say I would never go, because I've already done it. But if I could go back in time, knowing what I know now, with the kind of vision I have now, I would probably avoid going to university and use those 3 years to invest in what I'm doing right now. So I'd be even further ahead with that. Just something for you to think about. I think maybe at your age, it's a bit of a deep thing to kind of it's a bit of a deep thing to kind of like think about, but maybe you think about it. But okay, so let's put Lord Joker on there. And then let's go back to just connecting with each other and getting like getting more views up. Guys, I'm gonna have to go soon though, because I've got some training I need to do that needs to get completed. So I think maybe in 10 more minutes, I'll probably have to go in 10 more minutes just to give myself enough time to leave and do everything else. But yeah, what I'll do actually, I'll schedule. Let me think. I'll schedule another a live show, and then we'll bring in more people. Probably not this week. Maybe. Oh yeah, no, 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 no. Yeah, no. Here's what I'll do. I'll schedule a live show, but it'll be next week when I'm in Italy. So we'll do a live show when I'm in Italy. I can show you guys around where I'm staying and all this other stuff, and we'll make a fun live show with that. So I'll schedule it, but I'll be in Italy next week because I'm going to be in Italy for a couple of days for Christmas and all of that. But Liz, I'm not going just yet. I'm going to go in like we've still got like 5 minutes, so we got like 5-10 minutes left. But if you need to go, then obviously go ahead, do what you need to do, and I'll follow you back on Instagram because obviously you verified that you've seen my Instagram page, so I'll check that out and I'll follow you back and I'll give you my support over there. Oh you're Italian. Oh okay, Exporter. Oh, okay, that's quite the coincidence. But yeah, I'm gonna be in Italy next week and I'm gonna spend Christmas there. So I'm gonna make a live show over there, and I made a post about it in the community tab. I'm gonna get some content out there as well of like the places I'm gonna visit and some of the things I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna share them with you all so you can kind of enjoy and see. I think one of the things I'm looking forward to, but that's the thing. I haven't. It hasn't even really hit me yet that I'm even going. Like, I think for me, it only gets real when I'm on the plane. Like, where in Italy? Rome, Rome. But for me, honestly, it only really hits me. Obviously, I know intellectually I'm going, but it only really hits me that I'm going when I'm at the airport. When I'm not at the air, or when I'm about to go to the airport. But when I'm on the airport, that's when it's like, okay, this is actually happening. And when I'm sitting on the plane, that's when I'm like, okay, this is real. Up until that point, it's like, unless I'm going for a significant reason, like if I'm going to specifically meet someone that's important and there's been like a whole build up before that, then yeah, it's real, like before I even get there. But if it's just like a little holiday or something, which is what I'm doing right now, and there's no business in it or anything like that, it's just like for recreational purposes only, then it doesn't really hit me that it's real until I'm actually on the plane. That's just being honest with you. But yeah, I'm going to be staying in Rome, and I think I'm looking forward to the Colosseum the most so far because there's like arena access there, so I can go into the actual Colosseum arena and check it out. And I think I'm looking forward to the reels that I can make from all of that, and just the view itself. Italy at Christmas is beautiful. Yeah, I imagine it would be. I imagine it would be. I'm hoping it will be. So it'd be another place I can kind of tick off the travel list. I figured to myself, places in Europe are easy to go to because it's close by, it's quick to get there, quick to go back. I have a little rule though. Anywhere, any location where it takes me like 7 hours on a plane to get to, then I have to go there for like at least a month. I have to go there for around a month. If it takes me 7 hours to get there, for me to really enjoy it, I have to be there for like a month. If it takes me even more than 7 hours to get there, I have to go there for I have to go there for like 2 months at the very least because I won't be able to get much out of it if I'm only there for like a week. And it's taking me that long to get there, and I'm only there for a week. Nah, I need more time to kind of immerse myself in it and just really, come to grips with actually being there. Because for the most part, when I go to a different country, unless it's again, it depends on the circumstances as to how I got there. But when I go to a different country, it's only real when I'm on the plane. When I'm not on the plane, or when I'm literally on my way there, it hasn't even hit me much that I'm going somewhere. Okay, Sahi's connected with Zay. I think let's post Sahi. Let's post Sahi. If anybody has a link or anything like that, go to the channel. I'm going to be finishing in like 4 minutes anyway. I'm going to be finishing in 4 minutes. But this is just a quick live show. Just wanted to come on quickly just to talk and give you guys a little opportunity to connect with each other and all of that. I should really be going now because I need to be at a place by 4, and the place I'm going to is all the way in East London. It's not long to get there, but it's also not super quick to get there either. So it's going to take like actually, no, it won't even take an hour to get there. It'll take like maybe 40 minutes, maybe. But my upcoming premiere, 8 o'clock. Okay, Sahi, just send me a link and I'll be able to join, because today things are a little bit slow today. I'm working on my laptop, so I'll be able to join at some point today to kind of give you support with that. But okay, guys, I think I'm gonna call it a day. Take care. I'll see you lot later. Or yeah.